Hello, welcome to the Amuck podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Amuck podcast, home of the best Bachelor in Paradise recaps on this side of Mexico. As always, I'm your host, David Stalton. I'm joined alongside me by, right now, producer Gary, and later, our loyal compadre, Carson Cooper, to break down the latest drama from your favorite franchise. Producer Gary, how's it going, my man?
Going good. Missed out last week, but
we missed
I'm
it.
ready
It's
to
great
get back into it.
It is great to have you back midway through this episode. Once again, we will have a full house here. Carson will be joining us. Just a couple technical difficulties, nothing we can avoid, but a huge episode for our podcast specifically, I might say. Would you agree?
I would agree. I would say this whole season really is just a big up for our podcast. So
it is.
I think we have a clip. Are we gonna? I'm assuming we're gonna include it in this episode.
We're gonna include it in this episode. It's something that people are probably. I think this is the last time I'm gonna pat ourselves in the back because
I think we deserve it though. Like that's a big
I think we
call.
do too. So people will see. People will see what we're talking about. But we made quite a prediction before this season that really came to fruition, especially in episode 4. It was kind of the whole center of the episode. But before we get into a fantastic couple of episodes, we got to get the mops out, get the brooms out, get that Windex out, and we got to do a bit of house cleaning. First things first. And I almost don't even want to mention it because the people have been so good at answering this call to action, this call to arms. But it's the same thing every week. If you're not subscribed and you're liking the videos, well, just smash that subscribe button. You know what it is. It's just Bachelor content every day of the week through. I mean, we got a lot more to go. So
months and
months to go. So like, subscribe, and the biggest thing is tell your friends. You guys have been doing a fantastic job of that. We're growing every week. We really appreciate it. It's crazy to think that now we just get to chat. We get to go back and forth with hundreds of people each week. So keep doing that. We really appreciate that. Now, we normally do a little bit of listener mail, but because we have so much to run through this week, I just want to give a shout out to a few new subscribers. And of course, there were more than this week. However, not everyone has it public. Not everyone has a pronounceable YouTube username. So these are the shout outs for this week. We've got shout out to Teresa, Samara, Deborah, Shar, Totorla, Robert, and Carol. Now, thank you guys. We're not doing last names because we don't want anyone to get
murdered
on the internet. So thank you guys so much for subscribing, and stay tuned for next week. But before anything else, we got to jump in. Episode 4, Gary, you ready to rock?
I'm ready to go. Let's jump into it.
Okay, what a week. So we start off hot with, you know what? We start off hot with me eating a little bit of humble pie because Chris, Conran, and Chasen arrive. And Gary, I don't know, did you end up ever kind of like seeing or noticing what I said about Chris Conran last week? Because he's the guy.
Didn't.
I got you to add his picture in.
Yeah.
And so he was from, I think he was Tasha and Claire's season. Didn't last that long.
He went home early
season.
on. I do remember who he was. Yeah.
Yeah, he was either Tasha and Claire's season or Katie's season, but I'm fairly certain that the prior season, I think he was on with Ivan. And I said, oh, he has no shot. He has no chance of breaking them up. I was ripping on him. I was like, dude, well, no, like, you're a handsome guy. I'm sure you're charming. Because he comes in and he's like, oh, Ivan should be worried. And I was making fun of him. Turns out Ivan should be very worried.
Very worried. I mean, yeah, we'll get into it, but he should be very worried if Jasenia's his girl.
That's the thing about Bachelor in Paradise, though, is I don't know what sort of personality this guy has, and it seems like he has a pretty good, at least I don't know, normal, stable personality. He's obviously a good-looking guy, and this is not what I did not realize. I did not realize that Jasenia had him on her list, like it was
above Ivan.
Above Ivan.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I just missed that. Maybe that was out of my head, but I don't believe, do you think we heard that before?
I don't think we heard that at all, because I think it was just like straight to Ivan. They were here day one. It was like, okay, they're going to be the couple. But then Chris shows up and she's like, okay, peace out. We're
she's
done. She's
convinced
so out on it's actually insane.
immediately.
Yeah.
And we also like Ivan's a confident guy. Like we saw that on Tasha's season. We saw that like with Jasenia, and we do get the tragic classic montage of him being like, yeah, I think there's literally no time. We've seen it already like
been
5 times.
Yeah, there's so many. I love
Connor
him,
B.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting others, but and then we get it with Demi later on. We got it last night in
Connor
episode
B
5.
has the best one so far, though.
Well, I mean, Connor B was the best one. He's just strumming his tiny little ukulele and his silly little shirt button down to his belly button.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, absurd. But this one was pretty tough too, because that confidence gets shaken real quick. And I don't know, what are your thoughts on Chris? Because to me, he seemed like a bit of a douche when he first showed up. I wasn't in, but I ended up warming up to him. Like he seems like a fine guy. He just came in.
Yeah, he
very
came in
confident.
hot. Like the title, the Smoke Bros. You know, they were coming in hot, which you got to do on Paradise, to be fair. But he seems like he seems like a good guy. He doesn't seem like the classic douchebag. You know.
Yeah, yeah. And what do you feel about this rule? It's not cheating if it's through a strawberry. Is that the new excuse?
I don't know if I can get behind that one.
Does that cat like this one? Like, is that because? And then they go back to it a second time. They're doing the fruit. They're sharing the fruit thing. Which, first of all, I don't think I've ever done something. It seems logistically tough. It seems like the strawberry was simply getting in the way.
Well, because I think both times Chris just ended up eating the strawberry. Because Jasenia was like, "That's the best strawberry I've ever had." You didn't eat it.
Yeah, you didn't have any of it.
You're
straight blind.
Yeah, you're straight blind us. But
and so she can go back to Ivan and be like, no, we're just eating fruit.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna
actually be on the other end.
I'm gonna bring that up to my girlfriend and I'll see how she feels about that one.
No, I was just eating a banana, and she just happened to be on the other side of it. I didn't know she was there.
I didn't know there's another person on the other side.
You know, I eat fruit with my eyes closed and my ears plugged
in public.
But dude, it's so funny because like everyone's freaking out about Ivan losing his girl, right?
Yeah.
And then we jump over to Carl, who I didn't even really realize he was with Deandra until this episode. I thought it was just like,
Deandra
can I get a rose?
Realized that, yeah, because as soon as Carl was like, "Yo, that's my girl, bro," I was like, "What do you just gave her like? You didn't even talk to her, did we even see them talk?
We haven't seen that. We have not seen them talk, and I assume I don't think they've smooched,
No chance.
She might not know your name, my man, but then we jump past that and jump into the Mari, Demi, and Kenny trio.
Yeah.
And this is really, and we'll go back to it because it starts and so if you're new to because we're getting new people each week, thank goodness. And so people should know we go through it chronologically, which is just the way it makes sense the most. So we're going to start with kind of the intro of this Demi, Mari, Kenny nonsense, and then it really heats up midway through the episode. But look, to me, because we start off with the initial conversation of Mari saying, "Hey, just so you know," because truth be told, I missed the first 5 minutes of this episode. So I don't know if, was she asked by one of the guys?
No, she wasn't asked, but she was like, I don't know if they'd come in at this point, Chasen and Chris, and maybe pulled aside Mari.
I think they may.
And then
that was
might
the
have initiated the conversation. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Yeah.
But
she tells Demi later, "Oh, every new person has pulled me aside," or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And she's like, and then she tells Demi, she's like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna talk to Kenny about like maybe we can still date other people."
Yeah, this is very okay. So
yeah.
I have very distinct thoughts on this. Like, look, I understand where Mari was initially coming from, saying, "Look, I just want to maybe go on a date, explore it, see what it's about. I don't want to cheat myself out of an experience by locking myself into something right off the bat."
Yeah.
Fair enough. Unfortunately,
yeah.
That means that he's able to do the same thing. And
yeah, exactly. And this is the phrase of the season is you can't have your cake and eat it too. I've heard people say this 40 times already, and it's exactly the situation.
This is the prime example.
Yes, exactly.
I couldn't agree more. You can't say you maybe want to explore something else and then be mad when he does the same thing, because at its crux, those are identical things.
Yeah.
Yes, he happened to not do it through a formal date. Is there a philosophical difference? And like he's saying, is there a philosophical difference between it being behind closed doors, just down the beach a little bit, playing nude volleyball? Like obviously that's later, but like it's the same thing.
Well, a lot of people do that. Well, like we'll get into it later, but even the thing with like Aaron later, it's like he was like mad because it didn't happen behind closed doors. It's like, well, it's gonna happen either way. Like,
here's my other thing: walk away, move. Especially with Maury. Like, I know the Thomas Aaron thing was more blatantly right in front of him, and like I know that's his buzzword, but it did feel a little bit like directly disrespectful.
Yeah.
But Maury, well, you're leaning over the balcony watching them. Go do anything. Go take a nap.
Take a nap.
Go to the bar.
Go talk to someone else. Go talk to.
You're doing it right in front of me. She's like leaning around a palm tree trying to get a good angle. It's like they will not get out of my eye line right now. So I honestly, like, it sucks because Kenny, this was an all-time line when she goes, "I don't think you understand what I'm saying." He goes, "I saw us coming a mile away." He goes, "I don't think you understand what you're saying." And then, oh man, that is like, I agree. Quippy line, not the way to end an argument on a peaceful note. But
I don't know. This might sound bad too, but like, if you're having those thoughts and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna say yes to another date," either keep it to yourself because it's paradise and shit happens, or just end it. Like, you can't be in the middle. Like, it just doesn't work like that, you know.
Well, or you say that and you have the rose this week, so whatever, you can. That's the perfect time for him to go explore. It's like, okay, well, I'm safe this week, so I don't know, like, I'm fine with it. But you then cannot get mad if he ends up finding something. Like, again, like they mentioned a few times, hottest guy at the beach. Like, there's other people that are going to be into him. But then we jump into not the hottest guy at the beach. And I don't mean this in a bad, I don't mean to rip on the guy, because this is just very tough to watch. First of all, Connor B's outfit, crime against humanity? Am I wrong? Like, that was the ugliest shit I've ever seen in my life.
On anyone else, though, on literally anybody else, if they wore it,
Thomas would have pulled the hell. That would have looked fantastic. Yeah,
but Connor B, it's not his vibe.
It didn't fit him right.
No.
It wasn't the right vibe. Like, and like, yeah, I mean, physically and like vibe wise, it did not fit him. He's just anti-swagger. The man has no swagger whatsoever. Yeah. And that is an outfit made for, like, I don't get why people were complimenting him.
If it was a little bit nice, it needed to be tighter, man. Why is it so loose?
It needed to be tighter. Dude, you've been hitting the gym. You've been hitting the gym, drinking creatine. Like, you have been working the hell out. Get that nice and tapered.
Yeah, get a medium. Don't buy larges. It's not flattering, bro. Come on.
I do love how he set out his outfit like it was the first day of school and he was trying to impress his crush. He's like, "Oh my god, this will win her back." Yeah, dude. I don't think it was Riley's outfits that impressed Marissa. I think it was what was underneath them.
His lack of outfits.
Yeah. But dude, I think maybe the most painful scene in this whole season so far was him trying to sell that homemade date.
Yeah, that was tough.
I was telling a couple of our friends last night, I've heard people say no and had it sound less like a no than what she said, man. How do you think that you might, like, how are you still trying to sell this date? There's no chance.
And how oblivious do you have to be too? Like, you're like, "Oh, what are you doing later tonight?" She's like, "I don't know. I don't know.
We'll see what's up."
It's like, that's a no.
You have literally nothing but free time. You have nothing to do tonight if you're not on a date. I'll see. Riley maybe wanted to hook up. So after, could you maybe set out a nice meal for us?
Oh, it hurts so much. And then later, like shortly after, he finds out that she spent the night with Riley, and he's like, "Oh." Just a dagger to the heart.
It really wasn't just a dagger to the heart, man.
Did you see his face in that moment? He was like...
Well, he does the double take, too.
Yeah. Huh? What did you just say?
And then it just drops. It's like a moment of shock. Yeah. It was literally like he got stabbed. Like, he was like...
Yeah.
It was...
Tayshawn literally took a knife and just jabbed it into him. Like,
oh, Tajwan, rest in peace. We'll get to her, but what a journey. I don't know if we'll ever see her again, but oh my god, what a run. Look, I don't get, Connor B, we obviously see him leave later, but I do feel bad for him.
How do we feel about his nickname though, the Kimono Convict? You like that?
Yeah, I mean, Katie's house loves nicknames. They love nicknames. Dude, they love throwing out. Oh my god,
the bro, I think Katie's boys are just weak on Paradise.
Dude, I think they don't have game.
No, they don't. Nobody has game. Nobody.
They're all just chilling together. Yeah. Like Aaron,
The one with the
you
most
felt disrespected, but you didn't see her all day. She's 4 feet away from you. It's almost hard
go up to her. Just
go up and talk to her a little bit. Don't you want to get to know her? Like, you don't have that much time. How are you spending all day with your bros and then being like, oh, why did she want to go for another guy who was some hunk of a guy who was paying attention to her all day?
They're way too nice. They're like, oh, I don't want to take anyone's time. It's like, bro, you have to.
I also think they're just kind of getting into the idea of them just having a nice vacation with the boys,
they're just
too. It's just like,
out hard.
Okay, sick. Like, James, you're gone next week, man. I don't know how you got a pity rose this week. I've been rooting for you. I'm not anymore. Like, just like shape up, guys. Katie's guys, not a great look. Brendan, Natasha, we can get into it, but has there ever been a less passionate, like, she gives him a full-on massage. First of all, I like Lance Bass. I love Lance Bass. Like, the fact that he has that little sit down with Natasha and gives her advice, I think he's doing such a fantastic job.
He felt like full host mode this whole time. I think
he was taking it as a very real tryout. Oh, yeah. I think this man wants the job, and fuck it. I don't hate it. I do not hate it. Yeah. At least for Paradise. Let's see how it would work in a Bachelor setting, but I like him a lot in Paradise. But Natasha gives Brendan a full-on massage, and she gets the kiss, but we obviously see the preview for next week where he's waiting for Piper. And I had it written down, like, before we saw that preview on Monday's episode, I wrote down, like, yeah, he's waiting for Piper.
Yeah.
Because the kiss he gives her,
it was just like the littlest peck of all time.
Dude, she just rubbed your bod down for an hour and a half. You go, and she goes,
thank
we made
God.
it. No, you didn't. You did not.
Well,
you did
also,
not.
Lance told her to make the move, and she stopped the massage, and then she like laid down like a literal corpse. She was just like this. It's like, okay.
He's probably exhausted.
Probably.
He's like, can you go up again? She thought it'd be like a 5-minute thing. He's directing her for like an hour and a half in the boiling hot heat. Yeah, I just Brendan, man, I do not know how to feel about this guy.
He's so closed off. He's definitely, you're right, he's waiting for Piper, and it's pretty obvious.
Now we jump into Joe. What is it? Joe has the group date, or not the group date. He has the date card, and so he obviously takes Serena P. I don't know. Like, our listeners are definitely very mixed on them. Very mixed. Not in terms of like, I hate that. I think everyone is rooting for them across the board, but our listeners are definitely mixed in terms of whether they believe in them or not. And I think I have to agree. Like, I'm rooting for them 100%. That big of an age gap and distance are two enormous hurdles, right? Like, those are maybe some of the biggest hurdles you can have when starting a relationship. And
you want to talk about hurdles being distance. Kendall and Joe didn't work out because of distance.
Like, how was that not a huge, like, they were just fine with that after that conversation.
Where you from?
Like,
Canada? You're from Chicago? Oh, perfect. That's like close enough.
And you love Canada? Oh, and you love Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, why'd your last relationship break up? Oh, she wouldn't move and I wouldn't move. Oh, okay.
Perfect.
And they're just, like, you guys don't understand. It's the same situation. Except they had more time, less of an age gap, like a more oh my God. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, again, I'm just skeptical. It was kind of just a classic home run date, though, that we're getting between these like established couples. I don't know. Joe's personality, he's so charming while being so awkward. Like, him dressed up in that costume being like, I hate how it feels. I'm so uncomfortable. I was like, I love this guy.
He is very charming, and I do like them together. They do have their weird moments, though, where like nothing's being said, and that's kind of
the conversation seems pretty weak, like pretty stunted to me sometimes.
I don't know. But maybe we're just missing something. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I am. Like, they seem very, like, they both seem like they have good personalities, and they seem to be enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
So I assume we're missing something. But the stuff we're seeing, I'm just kind of like, okay. Can I get some
really
water?
Much of a conversation.
It's a little dry. But anyways, Jasenia and Ivan. Yeah, man. I like, we get the official breakup after she gets back from her date. Not much to say. I mean, they appear to really move on the next episode. It really surprised me how cool they were sitting beside each other.
Hanging out, drinking together.
I thought that was super weird. Like, weren't you falling for this girl like 24 hours ago? But anyways, good for them. But Ivan, besides Joe, probably the last guy on the beach that I'd want to see heartbroken. Yeah, man. And then, to be hit with, there's no spark with you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's the worst thing because there's nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing you can do about that. And that's pretty much what she says, right? Yeah. She's like, I don't think a spark really changes. Which is totally fair. But if you were to tell me Chris Conran has more of a spark than Ivan Ball.
Yeah.
But again, fair enough. I guess
it's the Kama Sutra, man. It
is. I mean, he had a sexy date to come in on.
That's an unfair date to compete with, man.
Like, yeah, Ivan and her got maybe like one of the. What did they do? Oh, they had that nice little dinner date in that pool, in that shallow pool. Sure, which was neat, but not that sexy.
Neat,
he wasn't. They didn't get to share a strawberry and blow on each other's necks.
No,
but
no.
All right. Let's jump into to Deandra, Chasen, and Carl. So Carl's bracelet, my man. So he really is. He gives her this. It looked like something he may have picked up at the fucking airport. If I'm being honest, it looked so ugly right off the bat. It looked like off-brand Pandora charms. I
think that's what Noah said. Noah's like calling it Pandora. He's like, those were cool in 2004.
Yeah.
But I gave it to my mom for
literally for Christmas when I was in 10th grade and couldn't afford anything nicer, dude. So ugly, and I love how he's trying to act like it's personalized. He's like you bought it before you knew her. He's like trying to make it fit to her. It's like, dude, this has nothing to do with her specifically. And we'll get into that later. But it's not special if you bought it for any girl that you were going to be into. There's
maybe you can get away with it if you do personalize it and it is very specific to a person. But you don't just generically buy a Pandora bracelet with charms on it.
And I love that these are the two guys who are beefing with one another because they had beefs during their season, and they are such hilarious contrasts of one another. On one hand, Carl has way too much of a personality, way too much of a shitty personality.
Yeah.
And Chasen has literally no personality whatsoever. So it is a wild clash of Titans, feels like a friendly word to use, but man, it was so awkward. He just keeps inching up, and Carl's like, Dude,
2 more minutes.
Seriously, 30 more seconds, bro. Can I get 22 more seconds, please? I'm on the clock right now. And I also, our Caleb, some longtime listener to the pod, will remember Caleb, who might be coming back to recap a couple episodes with us, but we'll see. Stay tuned. But a good friend of ours has been watching the show, and he had this one quote that he loved. He goes. And it was Carl after she comes back from the date with Jason. He goes, "What? You forgot about the kid? You're not into the kid anymore?" Which dude, there's just something about calling yourself the kid, and also doing that in a romantic setting, like asking a girl, like, "Hey, you're not into the kid anymore? You're not into the child? Come on!"
And the funniest part about that too is he was never into him. I don't know where he got this idea that they were dating.
Maybe we're missing stuff, but there's no way they had any. There's no one mentioned them once, right? No one's like when people are going through the couples.
People, even like really early on when people are coupling up, they're like, "Oh, look at those cuties over there." No one was saying that about Carl.
No one was saying that. I think it was a pure like, "Well, I'll give my rose to you, you give it to me," and it just I give zero blame to Deandra for ultimately rejecting both fucking guys.
What a savage move. When that happened, I was like, oh my god.
I wrote down like, and we'll get there, obviously that's next episode, but like that was my biggest shock of the season so far. I was like, holy shit. Yeah. But let's run through Demi versus Mari, because we get the whole cake explosion. So that was a huge moment. And you know what? I think maybe this is a good time. Let's you know what? No, end of the episode. We'll throw in the clip. End of the episode, like end of this episode's recap. Before we jump into episode 5. But Mari, she seems like she can get really well. Obviously, we do see it. She seems like the type of person who can get really explosive. Like she would get in a screaming match in a grocery store.
She even said that. She's like, this side of me doesn't come out often. But it can, and when it does, it goes
I throw
off.
some fucking cake every time. I find the nearest cake and I throw it into a fire. Man, also, I think a potential quote of the episode was Riley. He goes, "I wanted a piece of that cake." Damn, it's just,
dude. I don't know what it is about him, but he just gives off like he feels like he's casted in a comedy movie. Like all
Yes.
he has the best like one-liners and just like
he's so charismatic. He really is.
It's so funny.
Like he can be serious, but he can get real like goofy like that. Like him being so sad over losing the cake was like my favorite. Like, oh damn, what do you think? Do you think that was icing or frosting? And I didn't even know there was a difference. But he was like, this guy's a cake connoisseur.
What kind of cake was that? Is it chocolate with the fudge in it? It's like,
you think there was some fudge in there? There was some fudge in there.
And then later on, I think it's from the bloopers after, but he's talking to Carl, and Carl has no charisma whatsoever.
None at all. He's just trying to like feed into his.
He's like, you think we can make some s'mores? He's like, yeah. What are those things called?
Yeah,
again?
yeah. Does anyone have any? What are they called? Does anyone have any marshmallows? And like everyone's looking around, like, just shit, dude, shit. Oh my god, like there's nothing worse than ruining Riley's bit. Yeah, but Riley, God, man, he is so charismatic. I love him. Man, I feel bad. Like, also, I kind of feel bad just for the loss of the cake, though. In all seriousness,
weird move.
It certainly wasn't Demi that had to bake that. Just some lovely Mexican baker is just his work is in shambles.
Like you're only harming everyone else. You're
only harming everyone else. Kenny probably wasn't even gonna have a piece of that.
Kenny
cake.
didn't give a shit.
No, he had other cake to attend to.
Exactly.
Now, okay, come on now, come on. But look, I'm Team Kenny. I do empathize with Mari because I think it was just like, I don't know, the idea of like, just, I might want to go on a date. Like, it was just, I think she thought it would be such a little comment. And I don't think she knew how coveted Kenny was.
I think she might have jumped the gun on it. It might have been early thoughts. She might have been like, maybe I could possibly see something with someone else. Maybe I'd say yes to the date.
Yeah.
But then she just popped it and Kenny's like, okay, we're done then. Because that's basically what you're saying.
He was not, I'm just like playing it back in my head now. He wasn't super quick even to be like, okay, then I'll go after someone else. Like he said, like, are you sure that's what you want? Like, grass isn't always greener. And she goes, yeah, but you don't know unless you go. Or it's like he
wasn't quick, but he really made her clarify on what she meant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I'm sorry. I do empathize because I think it just went way farther than she was ever expecting. But I'm Team Kenny. Like logistically, it's virtually identical for him to explore a relationship with other people and for her to explore a date with another guy.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
I still would like to see them together though. At the end of this,
him
and Mari.
Now everything comes apart on this beach. Like Mari's freaking out. We're about to jump into the Thomas and Aaron situation. Tajwan, I don't know what the fuck was going on.
Dude, she's always screaming into the ocean. Breakdown. What happened? Did anything happen? Or she
literally just into the void. What is going on? Like it's almost. I was saying this last night, and we said at the beginning of the season. It almost feels weird to make fun of her because it does. It's like, why are you having an actual?
Well, I thought I missed something.
Yeah,
like she got, I don't know.
Like I don't know. I almost don't know if it's responsible of them to have her back on the show.
No.
I'm being like genuinely serious. Like I do not know if it's good to shove a camera in her face and be like, okay, go be entertaining, because she just literally and figuratively melts every time she's like put into a spotlight. But anyway, she's screaming into the ocean while Tammy and Thomas and Aaron, oh man, first of all, that came out of nowhere, right? We haven't seen them talking that much, and it weirded me out because I saw them talking earlier in the day and I was like, oh, I guess they're cool now. I mean, because Tammy was very out on him very early. I guess they reconnected over the fact that they were both villains on their show. Also, Trey, and we got a lot of people, lot of Thomas lovers coming out of the woodwork on our clip, and one of them specifically said Thomas went way too far calling, Trey went way too far calling Thomas a human trash bag, and he calls Tammy a human trash bag. So that is very clearly his go-to.
Well, it's not only his go-to, but Aaron also called Thomas a big trash can. I'm pretty sure Aaron called him that too. It's like, what is with these Katie boys and calling people trash cans?
Well, they're too close. They're all adopting each other's lingo. They all
sound the same. It's just the same person over. It's
human trash bag behavior. Like I've heard that so many times, dude. That's so mean. Just say it's inconsistent. Just use the big boy words. Yeah. I don't know, but I don't love that. Look, we talked about before though, I get Aaron has been complacent. I get that. But if that's your way of telling him you want more effort. I don't know what the fuck that was. If that was supposedly her way of being like, oh, I want him to come after me more, well, then you straight up don't want a real relationship. Yeah. Right? Because that's the least productive approach you could possibly take. Incredibly whack move. We get a great quote from Aaron, though. He goes, how could you literally go and kiss my mortal enemy? I just love that he uses the term mortal enemy unironically. Like, as if you were put on this earth for either you to end Thomas's life or for him to extinguish yours. It's like, it's very medieval, but I like it a lot. Also, I wrote down, brief side note, what is Tajwan saying about, because do you remember this? She goes, people are saying Tajwan can't pee and poop. Yeah. What are you talking about? We got no context of that at all. I think there's a slight chance that she's watching at home being like, oh, as if they ripped out all the context. Like there's a very clear joke and they took it out. But there's also a chance that she's just off her rocker.
I can see them doing that. If she's off her rocker, it's very, like they should not be doing that. It's like, come on. But if they're just taking out context, it's also kind of fucked up.
It is, but I kind of, that's what they do. You can't be saying that people are saying that Tajwan can't pee and poop and not expect them to clip that. And like, that's obviously making the episode.
My you just screamed into the ocean. Yeah, it's just like she's breaking down over seemingly literally nothing. Like she's not even having contact with people.
She's so much so that Trey had to take himself out of the show. He couldn't even take it anymore. He's like, okay, I don't know who else is coming down those stairs, but if there's anything like that, I gotta go. I gotta leave. Obviously, we'll jump into that, but I mean, also, then we jump into it was just a crazy night on the beach. One last like little Carl and Chasen battle. We got Carl with the nickname of the season going, I'm gonna call you Captain One Upper.
Captain Upper Pants.
Like that's even better.
Captain Upper Pants. He landed on it like later.
He got it later. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, he said I'm gonna call you Captain One Upper, and then he said Captain Upper Pants like right after. Yeah. It was like one of those things. Like the joke was there, but he kind of got to it late.
Dude, like he sucks. Like his personality sucks.
Dude, if he landed on Captain Upper Pants on like moment one,
it would have been hilarious. Good. But he doesn't have the personality to pull that off either. Like it would have been so funny imagine if Riley called someone Captain.
Oh my god, I would have freaked. It would have been the joke of the
would have been the joke of the century.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So we talked about it before. Chasen's gift. Again, I love that Demi has my back next episode and says like they're both fucking god ugly. They're horrible. They both look horrible. It's this big dog collar that he puts around her neck. Yeah, it looks so ugly. That was obviously manipulative, right? Like, or in a way of like, oh, I'm trying to one up Captain Upper Pants. But so was Carl's. What are you talking? It's just as manipulative.
Just as manipulative. It's just two big dumb babies going at each other. And she, Deandra seems like a very like level-headed person. She seems very like polite. Any other girl, I feel like if they did this to Tammy, oh my god, Tammy would have killed them both.
I think that Deandra is maybe one of the more. I think she might be besides Becca that just came in. She might be the most emotionally mature woman on this season.
But yeah, by far.
Like okay, look, just saying, like we do have some mature women on this season. We're not lacking that. But I was very impressed by her saying them both home. I mean, Carl, you happened to give her the gift right after she went on a date with another guy. Like you were clearly saving it for insurance or like break in case of emergency. Like just stop throwing stones at glass houses. Again, last little thing, honestly, I respect the hell out of Trey, just like stomaching being the bad guy in a breakup, leaving the show, and sacrificing a rose all in one. Like he could have gone the rose and moved on to someone else the next week, but he's like, okay, this isn't for me. And no offense to Tajwan, he dodged a fucking bullet.
Okay. Do we get the Tajwan exit next episode? Is that when that happens?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Early next episode. Yeah. We'll jump into it.
Into that.
So quote of the episode, Demi goes, how is there still this much drama in the house?
I literally have that written down at the bottom.
Yeah, because of you. Because of you. What are you talking? Mostly because of you, which is fine. But I don't see how you're shocked. Also showed it to Joe for putting on his best T-shirt for the evening. Come on, dude. If there was ever a guy who's in a comfortable relationship, it's the guy wearing a
everyone looks like they're in paradise, and he looks like he's playing a game of Survivor. Like, he looks like he's on Survivor Island. Like, everyone's in their hotel rooms. He's surviving down by the fire.
He has a little crabs. He just has a tarp and a stick, and he's got his little makeshift tent. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then we get an absolute power move by Kenny, turns the tables and has two people chasing him for a rose instead. Yeah. And Aaron jumps back on the disrespect train. He's tossing out little disrespect bombs left and right. We end with him and Thomas on the beach. Feels like we're back at home. And that's where we end off the episode. Now let's jump in real quick before we get Carson in here. Our rose and our thorn for the episode. That's our highlight and our low light. What we love the most and what we're snipping away and getting off there. And then we'll quickly jump into our couple of the episode and get Coop in here for episode 5. Gary, what was your rose for this episode?
Well, for this episode, I think it was Noah and Abigail, but we'll get into it later. Kind of, it's gonna bite me in the back.
Because it's a stable, cute moments.
Like the whole episode, we're just seeing a couple left and right breakup, people leaving, people screaming at each other, people fighting, and I'm just like, there's like a little bit of hope here with Abigail, and I guess Joe and Serena too. They have a solid relationship as well. Yeah, but
and we'll see how that turns out.
It's all going to shit. Like,
all right, that's great. I just had general beach drama. I thought that whole night was electric. Yeah. I thought it was fantastic because it's like something is literally in the water. Like we have Tammy, we have Tajwan, we have Demi and Mari and Kenny. Yeah. We have Carl and Chase, and we have everyone.
I've only seen one previous Bachelor in Paradise to this, and it never got this crazy.
No, like, this is by far the craziest.
Like when Wells says this is the craziest I've seen it, he actually means it. Unlike when Chris Harrison would say it every season and every.
There was some very sketchy shit with two contestants of like one drinking maybe too much and like them having sex.
Sketchiness and like drama, like fun drama. You know,
there was a very sketchy situation. I'm forgetting names, and I definitely don't want to throw out the wrong names for them, but people will remember. Oh, Corinne was the one girl involved, and we've had some sketchy scenarios before that actually ended up forcing some drinking regulations on the show.
Good fun.
This
drama.
Is good fun, wholesome heartbreak, right? Like that's what I'm rooting for. So that was mine. What's your thorn? I've got a few.
Dude, I'm gonna give it to Tammy. Like, we've been out on Tammy, and she kind of had a little redemption.
She almost roped us in with that Victoria P.
I was listening to the recap that I wasn't a part of last week. You guys were like, "Man, we might be on Tammy's side now." And then she goes and does this shit. And it's like, okay, well.
Yeah, she got me. Yeah, that's a great one.
Like, we've been known to be on the Thomas hate train too, but I don't think Thomas is that bad of a guy. He doesn't seem.
No, honestly, I don't think he's that bad of a guy. I'd still say it's very condescending to say that Trey is like, I don't know what he said, but essentially the crux of it was that he's emotionally mature and that he's his little brother. I thought that was condescending.
That was a weird moment, but
dude, it's not his fault in this situation. When a girl that you're into starts straddling you and kissing you, you're not gonna be like, oh, get off. The guy who doesn't like me is right there. He's not your friend. This guy's made it very clear that he doesn't like you. You don't owe him anything.
A good gap between him and Tam. He was like almost off the bed.
Yeah, it was not his fault. He wasn't trying to make any moves. But once the girls kissed, he was like, okay, I'm into you, Darren. I don't owe you anything, man. You've been nothing but antagonistic towards me this entire time, talking trash about me to everyone on the beach before I even got here. They didn't know anything about me. They didn't see my season. I could have come here with a fresh, clean slate. You ruined that. No, I'm not all in on Thomas, but this is not his fault. No. But yeah, I'll run through a few here. Carl's bracelet, we know that one. Carnaby's outfit, of course. Riley not getting cake.
Yeah.
Well, not getting
chocolate cake.
Yeah, and Ivan's heartbreak. Now, who was your couple of the episode, real quick?
Well, again, Noah and Abigail.
Okay.
Couple of
Well,
episodes. They were, they didn't really do anything. But
I'm gonna change your couple of episode, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be the same as mine.
okay.
It's Mari and Kenny.
Oh, okay.
It's Mari and Kenny. Rest in peace. And let me tell you why, baby. Now, you know what? We've said it before. We called it, and it's blown up. I didn't call that they would go on forever. I said that they would initiate a relationship. And you know what? I want people to see Kenny's reaction. So we're gonna put in our interview, just a little 50-second clip right here. Man, I know you get asked this every interview, every single contestant does. We're going to be basic as hell, and we have to ask you too, out of any of the girls on Matt's season, are there any that have caught your eye as potential Paradise contestants or someone you have interest in moving forward? Because if you don't, I think we have a name, and you can stay completely stone-faced. Don't give us a reaction, but we're gonna call our shot now. We're thinking age-wise. We're thinking, strong, outgoing attitude, someone who also speaks their mind. I think Mari. I think I'm putting a little bit of a match on Mari. Now, you don't have to say yes or no, but all I'm saying is I think there's a chance. Okay. And so, Gary, without further ado, let's bring in our boy Coop and let's jump through, starting at the cocktail party, episode 5. Another remarkable drama-filled episode. All right, we're welcoming Coop on to talk about episode 5. We just heard his fantastic Tajwan impression of her screaming into the void on the beach. Let's jump straight into the cocktail party because we start off very hot. I don't know if we've really even started in a long time, at least, a Bachelor, Bachelorette, or Bachelor in Paradise episode in this much drama. Like, we start off in the thick of it.
For sure. And I think that's maybe part of the reason why we're having a couple weeks of double episodes. I mean, just, you don't want to leave that too long spread over a week. So I think they've kind of laid it out perfectly where, you know, tomorrow night I'm going to get a conclusion to whatever drama is going on right now. Right.
And speaking of drama, Tammy, she just loves to be a villain and start to try. Like, I don't think there's any other explanation.
No, I think simply put, I think she just likes it.
Yeah. And and she also posted on her Instagram, just like, let's not slut shame. Slow down a second. Because I agree. No, like, and I'm sure there are people slut shaming her, right? I'm sure there are people taking it too far, using, I don't know, really misogynistic language, harsh language. I'm sure. But it's also not that deep. It's not self-exploration.
I don't think that's what the general narrative is at all.
No. You are doing something shitty. You hurt someone who you supposedly cared about.
As Trey says, human trash bag behavior.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, dude. I think you got to retire that. It's a little harsh. Like,
Aaron, this episode just calls him a tall ass trash can. He says, they're like, corny little bitch boy, tall ass trash can.
Tall ass trash can.
I thought this was kind of a heavy quote. Like, maybe you guys don't think it's that, but I've never thought about it this way. He goes, do you know what pity is? They're sorry for me being me. Which I was like, I guess that is what pity is when you nail it down. I kind of thought that was like kind of
I thought he was like being very genuine at first when he was just going to give you a textbook definition of what pity means. Like, he didn't think they knew what it meant. And he goes, they feel bad for me being me.
They feel sorry for me being me, which is the saddest thing
that is sad.
Because you are you. You are you.
And they are sorry.
Also, we've talked about it before. We talked about it last season. The episode in which we talked about it was called Chronic Mouth Breather in honor of Aaron. This man just physically has the biggest mouth I've ever seen in my life.
It's quite large.
There was one clip where they panned to him walking down the beach and he looked like Bigfoot, and he turned around and his mouth was just wide open.
It's always just hanging open, man. It is and it's fantastic because he uses it
a lot
constantly.
He does.
Also, I wrote down, is Jason's chain not the ugliest thing you've ever? And we talked about Carl's bracelet, that was ugly, but the chain was so goddamn ugly. And then, thank God, Demi validates me a few minutes later, being like, these are both super ugly.
That thing was taken off like one of the Migos. Like, that thing was so goddamn ugly.
It ripped off Flava Flav. I think he saw Little John coming in at the airport at the same time as said, "Oh shit, I'll give it back to you once I'm gone." But
yeah,
oh my gosh, yeah. To be fair though, look, we rip on Carl a lot because he's got the worst personality I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But when he is broken up with, he is actually very mature and respectful. Like, I really respect the way he handled it. He did it very well with Katie. Even when he was like embarrassed by all the guys, he took it on the chin well. And this time, there's no butt to it. He just handled it well. I don't know if you guys agree, but
honestly, there's no relationship there.
That's also true. Probably makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I think Carl overall, especially the last 2 episodes, like I feel like he's been pretty good the last couple episodes.
You're not into the kid? You don't like the kid anymore? It's an all-time quote. Dude, I don't know. I thought he was cringy as fuck.
Oh, he's still cringy, but he wasn't like, I don't know how we traditionally view Carl, I don't think.
Sure.
Right? Yeah, not malicious or anything. Like
no.
Like you said, he handled that well, that breakup. He still has that.
Chasen looks like a tool too.
Well,
like I don't mean like physically.
Looks like, I think he is.
He acts like a tool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. He just is one.
Yeah.
But then we jump sort of towards the rose ceremony.
Yeah.
Becca's arrival, dude. Former Bachelorette. First time. First of all, Carl, you know too much about the show, man. Well, you know too much.
At first he goes, and I don't know if this is just because he couldn't see her. He so the previews were saying like he was like, oh, my prayers have been answered. Like Becca's here, and then as she's coming out, he turns to somebody and goes, "Yo, who is that?" So like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I love how they had to show like what a slap in the face is the like they. Of course, he doesn't view it this way, but as viewers, we have seen Carl so many times be like, "Oh my gosh, like my bachelor prayers have been answered. Becca's here." It's like, dude, are you serious, man? Like, be real. You think like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but like, you think you have a shot with former bachelor at Becca? Like,
well, this is the guy we predicted would not get a single kiss this whole time on the island. So,
and I think
we called it too. We were getting teasers of him talking to Becca, and we were just like, no chance that's even remotely happening.
I'm a sheep for previews, but no. Dude, you're beautiful. Also, show to Becca when your sheer arrival forces another girl off the edge. Like, she shows up and Tajwan's like, nope, I can't compete with that.
Can't handle it.
Does anyone know she left, by the way? She just kind of like...
No one noticed until Wells brought it up. They're all standing there. He goes, and also, isn't it sad that Tajwan left? And
everyone's like, oh, what are you talking about?
I guess you're right. She isn't here.
Tasha, I thought she was like a server. That girl was handing me spaghetti like 4 times a day. Man, very, very messy exit from Taj. Also, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. I'm almost convinced that she stole that blanket from the resort. It looked like 100%. It matched I think she just straight 100%. Up
I thought that exact same thing, and I thought, wouldn't someone like say, "Hey, wait a second, you need to keep that here"? But she just probably snuck it out.
I don't know if anyone was willing to stand between her and that car.
She didn't come with any luggage either. She just walked out with the blanket, and that was it. No backpack, at least Trey had a backpack when he left.
Yeah, at least Trey said goodbye.
I truly hope, and I don't mean this in a mean way towards her. For her sake, I hope we never see her again.
I literally took the words out of my mouth. I hope
TV. This is
we never see her again. Yeah,
and I wish her the best. Like, I have no ill will towards her. It's just like you're not
doing you any good
for reality TV. Like, it's a very daunting circumstance to be put into. You're not built for it.
Simple as that. You know what?
Neither am I. Girl, pal. You are not that girl. Like, you are not meant for that. No, neither am I. Yeah,
but that's why I'm not on the show. So
yeah, there you go. Becca, though, she seems wildly more mature than everyone else on the beach. Is that fair? She seems like she is in another league, but she also acts like it. It's very jarring.
Do either know how old she is?
I think she's 31.
Okay. Yeah.
She's definitely older.
I think 31 sounds about right, because when she was talking to Aaron and Aaron said he was 26.
Yeah.
He said that we could have been in high school at the same time.
Yeah. Well, and then she said
you'd be in grade 8.
Yeah. When she was a senior.
When she was a senior, that's right.
Aaron's conversation was kind of cute. I didn't see the spark. She seems like, again, miles ahead of him maturity wise.
For sure.
Then we see Carl reading her palm. I've never seen someone waste their own time more. It's like, dude, you have 2 minutes with this.
You
girl.
had an opportunity and you blew it.
You're pulling out parlor tricks. Look, again, I'm not trying to I'm sure there are legitimate palm readers out there. He's not one of them. He's not one of them.
Well, and there's also girls that would be into it. They'd be like, "Oh no, like I love this kind of stuff." But she was
Barking
like,
up the wrong tree.
"How do you know which palm to read?"
Yeah,
And
you
she was,
gotta
like,
read the situation.
Yeah.
If she's immediately questioning it, probably time to cut the act.
Yeah.
Well, he's a shyster, right? Like,
Well,
he's
his whole scheme is a shyster.
Yeah.
He's a shyster at his core.
Yes.
A shyster at heart.
At his core, it's just more fakeness. Yeah, at his very core. Yeah. So we jump into the rose ceremony. Again, a little salt in the wound. No one noticed Toshwan isn't there, but that's okay. Deandra picks Ivan over Chasen.
Yeah.
You said it last episode, Coop. This is the first time this season where I was genuinely shocked. I did not see that coming.
The way it was going, I think it was set up for us to believe that she would pick Chasen. And I was calling it like out loud to my girlfriend. I said, "Oh, she's gonna pick Carl."
I thought she was gonna pick Carl. I thought we were gonna get
And out of left field, Ivan gets the rose.
Amazing, and I'm glad to see him there. And you know what? Look, again, we've been hard on him already, so I don't want to be. And we talked about his outfit last episode, Coop, and like we have been hard on him. I'm kind of done with the Connor B pity party. I'm done. I get it, dude. I get it. You've been friend zoned. Yeah, I understand that. Can we move?
That's
on?
actually a point I've written down to bring up a little bit later in the episode. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. And whatever you just let us know whenever you want to dive
into that. It's during one of our classic segments.
Yes.
Oh yes. Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Yes. Because it's just like, holy shit, dude.
I've had it.
And he's like, oh, at least now I can be the douchebag by the fire with the guitar. That's my role. It's like, dude, this is not sexy. Like this pity, but no girl's like, oh, I'm really into guys who I pity. Like, be yourself and go. If a girl's not into you, try to just read it and move on.
Aaron and Connor have two very different ideas of pity. One wants to be pitied, and the other wants nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it. Yeah, at least I can relate to one. Like, geez, holy shit. Next morning, we get a fantastic quote from Tia, who I'm a huge fan. I really like Tia
too. Yeah.
She goes, "Dear Heavenly Father, please send me a godly man and have him have abs." Like, it's just, I love it. Man, Demi is going through, and I think she maybe mentions it, maybe not these exact words, but she's going through more rejection this season than she probably has in her entire life. This is a 100%. Very tough run for our girl. Brendan,
she says it's Kenny, a massive ego smash to her.
Huge ego smash. Also, we said last episode, I don't know where you stand, Coop, but we are on the side of Kenny in the Mari situations. Like, you can't say you want to explore option then not.
Dude, it's not, I don't think you can be on the other side.
However, I love him, fan of the program, unconditionally, I'm rooting for this guy. However, dude, you may as well just not ask Demi what her thoughts are. It's like, hey, I want to be respectful and ask you. And she goes, oh, I don't want you to go.
Yeah, you have to know that's what she's going to say.
I was hoping you'd say, yes, I do want you to go on this date. Yeah. And he's like, oh, but don't you want to go on another date? Nope. Why not?
Honestly, Kenny's facial expressions throughout the whole last two episodes make me like crack up because he always looks so like, I don't even know, caught off guard, but like confused about how he's got himself into that situation. and I feel so bad because he's always like, what have I done? What just happened? How am I? And then,
dude,
now he's got three girls fighting over him, and he just looks like he's so lost in the middle of it all.
It's a scary prospect, man. When there's that many women just clamoring over you, like I was not prepared for this many balls in the air.
It's not easy being the hottest guy on the beach.
It's not easy. Demi tells us time and again. And we'll obviously get back to the Demi Kenny Tia situation, but first let's jump into Abigail and Noah, because Gary, you had them as your couple of the episode last episode.
Yeah,
did not age well. What are your guys' thoughts? What are your guys' thoughts on them as a couple generally? Because it seems like they're done, and I don't think they maybe should be. I don't know.
I think they should be. I think they should be for sure. I also said one thing a couple episodes ago on our first recap, maybe. And I was like, I don't think there's another guy on the beach for Abigail.
Yeah.
And she even said that this episode. She's like, I don't know if there's anyone else for me. So maybe we see an Abigail exit. An early exit.
Wow.
Well, we do see like someone takes themselves out of because Wells says like, or maybe the future house, I don't think it's Little John, but someone says like so and so, she is left on her own volition. So that definitely could be Abigail. Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they're done. I think it's over.
I never saw the spark. First of all, there were times this episode where I straight up thought Noah was a liquid. Like he just was so disengaged. Like she's like, yeah, there's just no spark, and they cut to him, and he's just
he's just an absolute smug. Like if that's not an indication of where your relationship is, like I don't know what would be.
Yeah. And let me say this, because Noah has seemed passive all season long. However, that is not the Noah that we know. He can be very engaged. I saw this man climb over a UFC cage, hop in a ring, and fight someone out of the blue for Tasha. And like that to me is big. Like he is a bold, go after it, fight for love sort of guy. He can be.
Yeah.
This is just not the girl for you. Like I like he's not one to take things slow. But at the same time, Abigail, you can't be. You said on the first date, I want to take things slow, and he goes, well, that's not possible. She goes, yeah, I think it is, which I would agree with her. But he goes, no, not possible. Like you were the one. Who said you like to take things slow.
I was excited for them after their first date. Like it was the first episode, so like obviously you're excited for any sort of relationship that develops on night one or the first couple of days. But just like without this last episode even in mind, everything just seemed a little flat, right? Very like flat. we saw a lot of progression between grocery store Joe and Serena, obviously, but we just never really saw anything fun going on between the two of them. They're always just kind of sitting around doing their thing.
And that's brought up a few times.
And then that's brought up a few times by different couples, and it's finally addressed. And even in the addressing it itself, like we mentioned, Noah just kind of sits there and like doesn't really act engaged. Like, he literally looks like he's about to fall asleep.
Yeah. I honestly, I think you're right, Kublai. I think honestly what it comes down to is like they were both comfortable getting a rose each week, got complacent, and I think like they're strictly just not that into each other.
And also in the conversation itself, like if neither of you can explicitly say like, no, I want to fight for this relationship, then it's done. Like I don't know why we're beating around the bush of like, I don't know, what do you think? Do you think we should keep it going? Well, if you can't say right now I want to keep this going, then it's done. It's already
also
done.
You're like a week and a half in.
Yeah.
If it's you can't even call it stale at that point. It was never baked. It was never
exactly.
It was never
mixed together.
It never was anything.
Yeah.
Also, I love the trope that we're getting this season of heartbroken guys just wandering into the waves. We've seen that a few different times.
I thought maybe he had a bunch of rocks in his pocket and he was just gonna walk right in.
Me and my girlfriend are saying the exact same thing. Try to go for the big swim.
Yeah.
Fucking walking out into the waves.
Now let's jump back into Demi, Kenny, and Tia. Also, so they go. That's a weird. Like what? That's the worst date we've ever seen, right? Like were those people even? So basically, for those who haven't watched, I know some people watch the recaps. We have an interesting audience. Some people watch the recaps of a show that they don't watch. So basically, Tia and Kenny go to play volleyball on the beach, and these three Mexican people come up and they go, "Would you like to play? Would you like to play with us?" They take them to a nude section. They obviously don't know it at the time. Start stripping down. Tia and Kenny are like, what the hell is going on? The guy who is part of the group, the Mexican guy, interesting character. He's got a little palm tree tattoo that goes right down to his penis. And Tia is very weirded out. She goes, I'm looking at this flaccid penis flapping in the wind. But the alternative seems far worse, does it not? If he took it off and he was just totally... on guard,
for sure. Yeah.
Like that would be far more jarring. But even so, a bit like there's just it was the worst date I've seen in a long time.
Sucked.
And usually extras are mic'd up like it's like a planned segment.
You couldn't even hear them.
Even mic'd up. They were literally just.
I don't know if they were meant to be on the show. I think they had something else planned, and then they're like, "Okay, go with this. Go with this. Go."
Yeah.
I don't know where those people came from. But look, I've never seen Tia on this show before. I've watched a lot of seasons. I just happen to miss the one she was on. I think she's just been on two. But I really like her personality. She seems genuine. I don't love the way that she has a mental block in saying penis. She says schlong and wiener. But other than that, I have no issues with her. How about you guys?
I think she's kind of a breath of fresh air on the beach for sure. Yeah, she's fun. She's excited to
very genuine.
Very genuine. Yeah, absolutely. No, I like her.
Yeah, she seems like she wants to have she wants to be there for Paradise. Like there's a lot of people who are there to like fuck shit up, like Demi, and there's a lot of people there to like find the one, and she's just there kind of like to have a good time. It seems
to have fun and maybe meet someone and maybe date them after, but at least have fun. And I think it's like she's coming in with the Paradise mindset, and I like her, dare I say it, more than Queen Demi, honestly. Like I just, and also to jump back to Demi, what a roller coaster ride of confidence, dude. Like one second she's saying she's very rattled, the next thing she goes, well, there's no chance, there's 0% chance that he's into Tia.
Yeah, like, and the fact that Demi has to, like, she kept saying, like, I'm not worried, like, I'm confident. The fact
I'm way
that
more fun than her.
Yeah, the fact that you have to keep having that conversation with every single person on the beach throughout the day very much shows me that you are very worried.
You're trying to talk yourself into it, for sure.
You're trying to convince yourself.
And then we get the preview for next week, and we have Joe and Serena being like, we're the most stable couple, strongest couple on the beach. His ex Kendall comes down, and I think you guys are probably thinking of the same exact moment I am. She comes down, walks over to the daybed that he's on, and goes, "Hey, butthead." Oh, the pet name.
No.
Oh man, dude, if you're Serena and you hear the ex use the pet name,
you gotta have a better pet name than that, though.
First of all, Butthead's the worst shit I've ever heard in my life. What do you want? Some 2000s rom-com with no strings attached?
Guys, sometimes I hate this show. Like, I hate the producers on the show so much sometimes, man.
But they had to do it.
They have to do it, but like, I think we can all agree that we all love Joe very much. We all think he's a very genuine guy, and it just hurts me because he's moving on. He's finally
trying his best.
Like, he's been moping around when Serena's not there, and he's building this real connection with Serena. And of course, they just have to blow this guy's life up, like on TV. Like, come on, man.
The nicest guy in the world. Yeah. It's all they know. It's all they know is chaos. They know chaos more than they know love. That's for certain. Oh my gosh. So I don't know. I don't know what you're predicting. Do you want it? Because that's the last thing we got here on this episode. What do you have any predictions?
I have a prediction. I think Joe's gonna have that quick talk with her and say, you know what? You better explore your own options on this beach because I'm wrapped up with Serena. I think he's gonna make it very, very blunt and very quick, and I don't think he's gonna mosey around on it.
I hope you're right about that. I
think the same thing, honestly. Like, he seemed, when I know it's easier to say when you're talking to Serena on a date to say that door's closed, right? When that door isn't in front of you, right? When it's presented right there, it's a tougher decision. But I do agree. I think it's going to be a quick, like, look, it didn't work for a reason. This was a beautiful thing, but it's over now. I'm just interested to see if Kendall's literally actually there for the show.
She might straight up leave if that's the case with Joe, if that's the response she gets. So I'm curious to see that as well.
Because if she doesn't, maybe that complicates it. Because it's one thing if you're to turn down your ex when she's there for you.
But when she lingers around.
She's talking to other guys, and you're seeing that happen, and you're seeing a reality in which you don't really matter as much anymore.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know how any guy would react, right? That's such a wild card situation. But okay, let's jump into our favorite segments. Rose, what our highlight of the episode, our thorn, what we're snipping away, and our couple of the episode. All right, let's start with you, Coop. Rose, let's start with a thorn. Let's start with the negative. Yeah.
Okay, so my thorn is going to be, this ties in, I guess, from both episodes, but it was a kind of a carryover. It's got to be Tammy. I mean, I'm not going to go as far as saying human trash bag behavior, but you're explicitly there, like Gary said, to just cause shit, to stir stuff up. Especially when you go after the person you're dating's mortal enemy, and then have relations with him in front of that said man,
and then play the victim,
and then play the victim in the whole thing. So
Yep, totally fair. That was Gary's last episode, so
I
like how she's done. That's fine. We're piling on her, but fair enough. Yeah, that is spectacular. Gary, what you got?
I'm gonna have to give it to. Damn, this is tough. I want to give it to Demi, but I kind of, just from like a moral standpoint, I don't like how she's handling this whole thing. but from a TV perspective and an entertainment perspective, she's kind of killing
It's
it.
electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Can I hit you guys with 2?
Yeah,
Sure.
go for it.
Here we go. First one, that volleyball date. I hated it. It was awkward.
Brutal.
It was weird. I don't like dates where I like where there's weird shit, but like then have something really cute. They just had a picnic. It was obviously following a storm too. They were soaking wet in the gray skies. Like there was no real chance for them to have a real romantic connection. I don't know. Put some more effort into the dates. And my other one, controversial because we love him. But every time he does this shit, I hate it. Riley's spoken word.
Oh.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop. I wrote it so early. That was like the first thing I wrote for this episode was my thorn. And that never happens. I was like, oh, well, that's got to be it.
Yeah.
Stop doing spoken words, dude. At least like either put a beat behind it or
make sure everything rhymes.
Make sure everything rhymes.
Yeah.
You can't be cheating with free verse every single time because I've heard you do this shit before, man. I've heard this is not the first poem I've heard you read. But we still love him. Okay, let's jump into our roses. Coop, what you got?
My rose is, I don't like to harp on this too much, but Connor B, I'm sorry, my guy. I'm so happy that you're done with this show. Like, like I think he's a fine guy overall, but
that's a thorn disguised as rose, my guy.
Whoa, Connor B's absence
is my rose.
Yeah.
I
think that's a first.
I couldn't take another week of the self-pity and ukulele playing and guitar and the low button shirt. I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You need to put the guitar down and go talk to somebody, buddy. Like you can't be sitting at the rose ceremony all jittery and like sweating and touching your face and stuff because you're worried you're not going to get a rose. No shit, you're not going to get a rose, man. You're not going to get a rose because you hadn't talked to anybody. The ukulele ain't giving you a rose. So what do you think's going to happen?
I also love how delusional this guy is too. He's like, oh, I gotta find someone who's going to give me a rose. Okay, so there's Mari.
Yeah.
At the time, there was still Taj on the beach. There are a number of people. It cuts to him playing the ukulele.
Yep.
For Jasenia.
I know.
What are you
someone
doing,
who's locked
man?
up. And you
what
know what
are you doing?
He tweeted I think during Monday's episode, he's like, honestly, everybody who's been telling me like to stop playing the ukulele can like F off. I'm just trying to bring some joy to the world. It's like, dude, it's not that deep, bro. You're on Bachelor in Paradise.
No, do you know what that was actually referencing?
Oh, what was it?
So Lance Bass went on the Vial Files.
Yeah, the Vial Files.
Said that he thought Connor B was there for the wrong reasons. He thought that he was there
just to get his
spark
music. Yeah,
his music career. You actually may have. Did you send that to me, Coop? Yeah,
I did. Yeah.
How crazy is that, Gary?
I was actually thinking that after this episode, I was like, he's going to release a song or something after this.
That he said to Lance Bass when Lance Bass showed up was something to do with music. Like he came up to him right away.
He said something like, because Lance had seen the beginning of Katie's season since he was the first host, so he wanted to see if any of his songs made the cut. On Katie's season.
Were my songs
which
on
Lance
there.
obviously thought was a very strange thing to ask.
Yeah, which could be innocuous, but it is.
It could be.
Like, that's the first thing on your mind. Like you're supposedly at that point, he was supposedly with Marissa. Then it's like, I'm. You know what? Even whatever, but put down the fucking ukulele. I agree. Like I'm kind of done with Connor B. I'm kind of done with Connor B. Go.
And you know what? Like I think maybe we'd feel different if this Paradise season was maybe 2 years down the line and it wasn't right after we saw him in Katie's season. Like, we're getting a lot of Connor B
doing the same party
thing for 2 seasons now.
I get it, man. People people aren't into the ukulele. Then switch it up. Insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting different results.
Like there's a reason you're playing by yourself every time because no one wants to come around.
All right, I like that one.
Yeah.
Gary, what you got?
I'm gonna have to give it to our boy Ivan for really playing the Bachelor in Paradise game well. He got broken up with. Yeah. He made amends. They're on good terms. They're hanging out.
Weirdly good terms.
Good terms. Yeah, that's fair. But good for him. And he still gets a rose out of it. He didn't go mope around and walk into the waves and be sad. And
he got stuff done.
And he got a friendship rose from someone who also doesn't really have someone yet. Like she was like, okay, you know what? And we've seen that before of someone being like, you know what? I respect you so much. You deserve to be here. Let's both try to find people this next week. and move it, like keep it moving. Yeah. So that's a fantastic one. I'm in the same boat as you, Coop. I put Carl's departure. The guys I was watching with were thinking like, oh, we want a bit more Carl. I think we've squeezed the orange as much as we could have. I think it was just going to be annoying after this. We saw his jewelry get rejected. We saw him say some really cringy sort of catchphrases that he was trying to really incorporate. Did not work. So I think we got all of the funny cringiness out of it that we could. Becca's arrival. That is a big rose for me. And lastly, this generally the tangled Bachelor Nation spiderweb, man. I fucking love it. Just like the fact that it's getting better and better. This is why the Paradise seasons are getting better and better. Everyone knows each other. There are people on there now who have podcasts together, who are now seeing each other on the beach. Like it is an inside. I think Natasha and Grocery Store Joe have a podcast together, right? Like, and then we have Piper coming in. Like everyone is so connected, and that shit. I know it makes it tougher on the contestants, but it makes it better for us. So much better for us, dude. Like, oh man, so many connections. So all right, guys. Oh, and let's real quick couple of the episode. What you got, Coop?
Honestly, I was thinking about this since Monday. Yeah. It's tough when there's so many implosions of couples over the last 2 episodes.
It is.
My safe bet, obviously, and I used this last week, so I don't really want to choose this again, would be Serena and Joe. Even though, we don't know what's going to happen next week. What I am going to go with, though, and I don't know if they're quite a couple yet, but there's there are 2 people I would like to see maybe move forward, and that's Tia and Kenny is who I'd like to see.
I'm jumping on that bandwagon as well. I'm going Tia and Kenny. Demi and Kenny, it's the physical aspect. Mari and Kenny, I think they had more of like an emotional connection because Kenny is a mature guy and he does have a far better head on his shoulders than was shown on Tayshia's season. I think Tia's like the best of both worlds. Yeah, I think she has that spark, but I think she's also like has a fantastic personality, very chill, very real. I totally agree. Gary, what you got?
Yeah, those are good choices. We obviously got Joe and Serena P, the safe bet, but I'm gonna give mine to Ivan and Deandra because I think they would be a really good match. I know it was kind of like a friendship rose, and it was just like whatever. I have no one else to pick. Yeah, and you seem like a good guy, but I think like she's very mature and seems like very aware, and obviously Ivan's just a great dude. So I think they'd be good together. So
I don't hate that, and it's kind of like a rom-com trope of like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I didn't even notice you until you took your hair down and took your glasses off. And
there's these 2 idiots fighting over her.
Yeah. It's like, oh man, well, grass isn't always greener, but it sure as hell is this time. Yeah. All right, guys, what an episode. Woo, we went long, but we had a lot to talk about with these double episodes. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, you guys have been crushing it with spreading the good word, spreading the gospel of the Run Amuck podcast. So please keep doing your thing. Rate, review, subscribe. Shout out to all the new subscribers. We love you, new and old. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, producer Gary.
Wet bird never flies at night.
Never flies at night. Thank you and peace.